Ethereum is at a very critical level here on this weekly chart. Currently, it is retesting this zone of resistance from $1,740 all the way up to $1,930. And this is a pretty generous range, but we have seen over the years, this general zone has been a huge inflection point, a huge level of support and resistance. Starting all the way back here in 2021, we saw when Ethereum was able to form that new all-time high, it had a huge breakout up into this point where it found its first major level of resistance. It had this weekly candle after that retest coming back down about 27%. So a very significant rejection, and we continue to consolidate all of this during the bull run when Ethereum was strongest and had the most momentum. So this was a very significant rejection for bull market standards. And then eventually we saw with that breakout point, Ethereum was later able to rally by about 130% in just the next following 6 weeks. So we know this was a key level of resistance, and the breakout point had a very positive reaction by the market. And then later when we came back down on this correction in 2021, in the summer of 2021, we flipped that into support on this triple bottom, where that was ultimately where Ethereum was able to turn around and then go back up to form a new all-time high. So we also had this level as support from back here in May of 2022, just before that last crash, that last leg down to form the cycle low right around $880. And then we did see that big rally right up into that level once again, flipping it into resistance on this rejection here in August. And then we had another retest right here in September. And ever since then, we really haven't seen too many interactions with this level, but we are once again knocking on the door of that with the last weekly candle high at around $1,740, just sort of entering this zone. And in general, this is going to be a key level to watch out for into the next few months, especially if Ethereum is able to break out back above it. We have seen historically this has been a major inflection point, and the breakout points have been pretty significant. And if Ethereum is able to break out above this resistance, there is a pretty significant gap up until the next major target that we can look to, which is going to be this level right around $2,500. That was the support that we held right here in January, as well as March for this double bottom, just before having that failed rally, that failed attempt higher. And then eventually when we did see that breakdown from this key level, we had that capitulation right here in May, with this weekly candle bringing Ethereum down by about 30%. So that's where I see Ethereum headed if we do see a reclaim of this level, which for example would look something like this if the weekly chart can actually have some closes above this, holding as support and consolidating. If we get something like this, then I think we could expect that next leg up to, again, that region around $2,500. And what's interesting is how historically between these two levels, we have seen Ethereum has moved pretty quickly. There's not too much price action in between these two zones, so it's relatively inefficient. And for example, again, when we did have that breakout, it only took Ethereum 1 week to drop 30%. And going all the way back here to 2021, when Ethereum started to rally, it only took about 2 weeks to rally 50%. So these moves tend to be very quick. So if this level can be reclaimed, I think we could expect that pretty soon if this weekly chart can come back above and flip this into support, which is a big if. We haven't seen that as of yet. This is still resistance until proven otherwise, and it is a major zone of resistance. So if we have some sort of rejection and we're unable to actually reclaim and break back above this, then at that point I would look for some further consolidation, further sideways action into the next several months, potentially forming some sort of higher low where we might start to look at a new uptrend. But in general, if we do see that rejection, I wouldn't expect anything other than some pretty low volatility and potentially some sideways action, building out some sort of bigger, longer term base. So either way, I do think that the weekly chart looks pretty bullish overall. And if we were to get that rejection, I would just look for some sort of higher low in this region where maybe Ethereum can find some support off of. And then going out further from there, if we can have, say, a second attempt higher, then maybe that one would be successful, and then we can look to that as our target. So that is what I will be watching out for into the next few months with Ethereum on this weekly chart. I hope you guys did enjoy the content and the analysis. By the way, make sure to check out my Twitter page. I'm fairly active over there with crypto content. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.